તમારે દશેરા જેવું કાંઈ ના હોય ને અમેરિકામાં, રજનીકાંતભાઈ?
ત્યાં હોય ને.
હોય?
અમારે 9 દિવસ ગરબા અમારા આનંદ વિહારમાં.
હા, ઇન્ડિયન કોમ્યુનિટી હોય એટલે.
Yeah,
રાઈટ.
yeah, yeah,
Where there is Indian community, તમારી ઇન્ડિયન ફેસ્ટિવલ સેલિબ્રેટ થાય.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have full time. Everything we do, we celebrate everything.
મિક્સ્ડ હશે
All,
ને? હમ.
all occasions. અને every day કઈ ને કઈ પ્રોગ્રામ હોતા હોય.
હા, એટલે you will have Gujaratis and other Hindus also, ne? Bengalis and whatever.
બંગાળી નથી કોઈ. સાઉથ ઇન્ડિયન, નોર્થ ઇન્ડિયન, ગુજરાતીસ અને yeah. એક સરદારજી છે પણ he doesn't live here that much. એટલે કઈ ને કઈ ચાલતું જ હોય અહીંયા આગળ.
અને એ લોકો છે આનંદ વિહારમાં, વિઠ્ઠલભાઈ and સરલાબેન? or
અહીંયા હતા પણ he sold his house and he moved to a next neighborhood.
next neighborhood છે?
હમણાં ઇન્ડિયા he was supposed to be in India અત્યારનો.
અચ્છા.
ચાલો આવી. Okay, we will start.
Yeah, now people are coming on the dot.
Yeah. Okay, Lataben, please unmute. Okay, Pooja is here. Okay, three mantra bolao. Please everybody follow.
નમો વિતરાગાય,
નમો વિતરાગ,
નમો વરિહંતાણમ,
નમો હરિહંતાણમ,
નમો સિદ્ધાણમ,
નમો સિદ્ધાણમ,
નમો આયરિયાણમ,
નમો આયરિયાણમ,
નમો વજ્જાયાણમ,
નમો વજ્રાયાણમ,
નમો લોય સૌ સાહુણમ,
નમો લોય સભ સાહુણમ,
એસો પંચન મુખારો,
એસો પંચન મુક્કારો,
સૌ ભાવપનાસણો,
સર્વભાવ પુણાસનો,
મંગલાણંચ સવેસેમ,
મંગલાનં ચ સર્વેસી,
પરમમ હવૈ મંગલમ.
પરમં ભવૈ મંગલમ.
ઓમ નમો ભગવતે વાસુદેવાય.
ઓમ નમો ભગવતે વાસુદેવાય.
ઓમ નમઃ શિવાય.
ઓમ નમઃ શિવાય.
જય સચ્ચિદાનંદ.
જય સચ્ચિદાનંદ. જય સચ્ચિદાનંદ.
Jai Satya Mahatma. Where we left off was Purusharth on column number 5, and also during the Vratri, Purusharth on every day, a different column. So anybody wants to share an experience? Or Pulinanandji, maybe you can start out by giving your viewpoints. So
Yeah. See, no Kalam for the 9 days of Dasera was a focused attempt to look at all our faults in the Prakriti and generate an awareness for those faults, basically. So when you dedicate one day on asking strength for any one Kalam, we said one per day, that is day 1 first Kalam, day 2 second Kalam, day 3 second third Kalam, like that. So throughout the day, if you keep asking for strength of one Kalam, what will happen is two things. First thing is you will realize where you're breaking the Kalam in the present. You will realize where you have broken the Kalam in the past, where in the past you have hurt someone ego, where in the past you have done about Tiraskar, and so forth. And what will also happen is we will then analyze and we will find out that if I have not to break the Kalam, what is the solution? Which Gnan to be applied, which understanding to be applied, so that you may generate non-hurting speech, non-hurting thoughts, and non-hurting actions. સ્યાદવાદ વાણી, સ્યાદવાદ વર્તન અને સ્યાદવાદ મનન કરવાની શક્તિ આપો. So it basically increases the awareness. Why this is happening is because in discharge we have brought like that mind, body, speech, and beliefs and opinions we have brought, which are not aligned with the 9 columns. So they will have a tendency to play out. By asking for this strength, we are generating an increased awareness that, oh, I don't want to get engrossed when the discharge plays out. Discharge in terms of thoughts, speech, and action. Like we have to go walking in some crowded locality where there is a lot of traffic. So we warn ourselves, be careful, huh? Traffic comes from right side, wrong side. And when we leave home, we are mentally alerting ourselves, be careful, there's heavy traffic over there while crossing the road. I'm talking on foot, not the stuff that you are used to in America, where everybody is in a car. So when we do that, we are more alert to the traffic, and then we slowly navigate the traffic when we want to cross the road. In the same way, we alert ourselves that I don't want to get engrossed in the thoughts or speech or actions which are of the hurtful nature, and be able to navigate it. But navigation is going to ask for additional knowledge or inputs as to how do I do non-hurting speech, thought, and actions. Syadwad Vani Vartanmana. About Tiraskar, for example, and that does happen. Hatred content does happen. And what understanding should I now give myself so that it is nullified and does not happen in the future? So these are the two major things, and it's an opportunity where by saying this, we happen to realize where we have missed out in the past. And wherever we have missed out in the past, we are able to then do Pratikraman and erase the past mistakes. In terms of whatever Atikraman we have done, we can wash it away by doing Pratikraman. Wherever we have hurt someone's ego, or Varnavada, Pradhavinay, or any monk, non-preacher, hatred content, or harsh, vengeful language. So we can do that. And as far as the fifth column goes, that if someone says in a harshful language, give me the strength to speak in a very soft language, very straightforward language. That is a very big challenge. And with do I, what understanding do I have with me so that I am not able to retaliate in the harsh language, but speak in a soft language? I need some understanding. So it is a chance for introspection, chance for finding out which knowledge, which gnam, which sentence, which understanding, which agna will help us to nullify the past understanding that we have brought. We have brought some past understanding, some beliefs, some opinions. So we have to only nullify or plus minus those things with the today's knowledge, today's understanding, today's gnana, today's agna. So it's a introspection and generating that thing, which will gradually help us to deal with our own inner enemies. Essentially, we are dealing with our own inner enemies: anger, pride, deceit, and greed. Why enemies? Because they are blocks to our Keval Gnan, absolute knowledge. They are blocks to our emancipation or moksha, and hence uh, they are called as enemies. If one wants to stay in the world, have worldly life, then these are not enemies, those are friends. They will ensure that you get a new birth and more desirable according to whatever understanding one has. So this was the brief reason behind having this now Kalam Purusharth during the 9 days. So now I would request everybody to share whatever experiences to whatever extent they have got. It will be useful cross learning for all of us. Jai Sachin.
Very good. Kaushal, you want to share something?
Yes. So last time I shared, I said the reactions come very fast, on column number 5, even when I don't intend to react or hurt. So one solution that has worked for me, and I know that's not the most ideal one, is knowing how fast the reaction comes. If I want to react, the first thing I do as a stopgap for myself is I just say, it is a lost cause, but let me try. क्या मतलब कि आप मानस नहीं समझे जवा दो कि you know what આમની જોડે વાત કરીને કઈ ફાયદો નથી, let it go. That reaction comes first, and then I'm like, no, but then it is my duty to try, so I'm going to try. And then I can communicate in a very calm way. And then many times the other party is like, okay, yeah, we understand what you're saying, or even or they'll like calmly listen to what I'm saying and saying, it's interesting that you are not reacting like you always do with this situation. I'm like, yeah, but like, because I have noticed myself, like if I don't like something, I am I'm very straightforward in saying, right? So मीठी मीठी बातों करता ना आवड़े right away. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you nicely, but the one thing I noticed was that if that's the first thing that comes to my mind, it's a lost cause, or you know what, it's not going to work, but let me try. Then that way I calm myself down. I don't give a immediate reaction. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, let me explain you why I'm asking you to do something, or let me tell you what my point of view is. Instead of just saying right away, no, you know what, this is not right. I don't say this is not right. I'm like, I see where you're coming from, but let me explain what I'm thinking. So when I do it that way, it helps a lot to me. I know generally we say, you know what, Shudhdhatma juo, and then when you see Shudhdhatma, it is nirdosh, and then when you say nirdosh, then you don't see the fault, and then you. That has not come to me that often, and that quickly. I've noticed that. So at times it comes, and at that time I deal with the situation in that way. But when I'm in a conversation and I know that the reactions will come fast, this is how I have paused myself from not giving a reaction, and then my facial expressions remain the same. My speech is calm and composed. I'm not irritated that often. So that is something that I have noticed that works well with me, so to speak, in fifth Kalam.
Okay. So,
Yes, yeah.
If I may say so, basically, it's a good attempt. You're trying to find out via some solution. So, first thing you said was, first thing that happens is a lost cause, you know. And then secondly, you also have the talent, I can still talk nicely, goody goody, and try to be good. If I try to put it into some brackets, basically these are, it's good. In the absence of anything, this is good. I'm not criticizing that. Basically, these are solutions of the Buddhi, the solutions of the intellect, you know, because lost cause is an opinion, and I can talk goody goody means in the raag category or even the Dwesh category, but still that opinion is there, and when opinion is there, Buddhi is still there. So you're still trying to operate from the Buddhi level, some Buddhi to some extent. So the crux is to find a solution. The solution will be, as you can hear, put it that the file has come up. When someone is not listening to you and you have to put your point of view across to them, then that irritation that pops up, which you try to solve with the buddhi, the neutral word is file. That hey, the file has erupted, the file has come up. Give me the strength to equanimously square up. Sambhavinika. So the non-buddhi technique or solution would be, instead of Shudhdhatma, file. Both are two sides of the same coin. Either you say Shudhdhatma or you say file. Both are two sides of the same coin. So the crux would be to say file ubi thai. So this file word is such that it reduces our raag dwesh, our like dislikes immediately. You know? Lost cause is a dvesh, and then goody goody is a raag. So it'll nullify both. It'll nullify both. So first solution would be say as a file number one. And then you see the import of the entire three columns is column 1, column 2, and column 5. That give me the strength to speak Syadvad, Vani, Vartan, and Mana. Or if someone speaks in harsh language, give me the strength to speak in a soft and honest language. So this portion is something which we must ask for strength. That when such person comes up, how do I speak in a Syadvad manner? How do I put across my viewpoint in a Syadvad manner? The more we ask, we will get the Vitrag solution. Today you have got an interim solution. Perfect. But the Vitrag solution or the long-term solution, which will help you in all aspects, you see, is this. Because this is a temporary interim. Sometimes if the force is very high from the other side, the person is little more aggressive, then this will also not work. But if you have kept the file part of it, if you have kept the Syadvad part of it, now Syadvad is a very, very powerful thing in the sense it will open up our vision, our darshan khule. It will open up our infinite vision as to why this is happening and what I should, how do I square up this file? Why this is happening and how do I square up this file? એટલે એ વિઝન આખું દર્શન ખુલે. એટલે એ વિઝન અને દર્શન ખુલે ને એટલે તમને પરમનન્ટ સોલ્યુશન મળે, irrespective what the other file is. That is what Dada Bhagwan and Tirthankars have. They are in the center, they are anchored in the center, and they can handle people from all 360 degrees. Person with standing with a 60 degrees viewpoint, a development who is about 60 degrees development, 180 degrees development, they can handle because they know he's operating from this understanding. And he's operating on who? On our file number one. And we are Shuddha. So to go to that state, we ask for the strength of Syadvad Vani Vartan and Mana. A file, Sambhavinika and Syadvad Vani Vartan. So by this, you will get the Vitrag solution of handling that situation. Situation will arise, and there we will also be doing some amount of tap, some amount of penance or discomfortable. We'll go through some discomfort. If I may say tap as discomfort, mental discomfort, speech discomfort, or physical discomfort. So that is essential. It's very important to know that this tap part, this discomfort part, is a very, very essential ingredient in squaring up of our accounts or cleansing our karmas. Like, in India, when during Diwali cleaning and all, when you clean the bathroom and toilet, sometimes there are very stubborn stains. So we put acid also, and then we clean it out, So harsh or stubborn stains need harsh or stubborn remedies in terms of acid or solution, cleaning agents, if I may say so. So similarly, harsh inside inner enemies need some harsh inside solutions. So that tub is a cleansing process. or when we put a band-aid tape on, supposing we have injured our hand or some foot or something, then we put a band-aid tape. And then when you want to remove it, some amount of hair also comes out with that. So this is all tough. When you're cleansing something wrong, it will have some amount of tough or discomfort. Trying to find solutions without undergoing discomfort will not work. Tough to आवश्यक tough is-
Oh, Pulinanandji, so the what you said makes sense, but here's what I have observed, right? So at times it comes up like, oh, file IV, or Samaya or Shudhdhatma. That comes. I have noticed that for some people, and this is what has been told to me, that when you don't like something, your facial expressions will tell us that you're not liking what's being done or what's being said. You may not be saying by your speech, વાણીથી કઈ બોલતો નથી, પણ facial expressions થી ખબર પડે છે. I'm like, okay, I understand that. And then I've been told at times that we don't like when you do that. અમને નથી ગમતું. એ દુઃખ પડે છે. So I'm like, okay, અગર મારી વર્તનથી પણ તમને દુઃખ થતું હોય, so I'll try and keep even my facial expressions neutral. But knowing my prakriti, knowing myself, I know that there are times where in a conversation I won't think twice and I'll say something because I'm just reacting to that situation. So when I do that, I have gotten more negative feedback because, oh, why did you react this way? This was not appropriate. And I understand they are telling me for my own good. So in those situations, when for me Shuddhatma and file comes as an afterthought, or while I'm speaking or reacting to the situation, that's when it clicks to me. ના ના ના, એ તો નિર્દોષ છે, શુદ્ધાત્મા છે, ફાઇલ છે. So I'm already halfway through the conversation.
No, don't do all that. No, perfect. All I'm saying is they are telling you something. We learn from our expressions we don't like. This is what it should be. Just accept it at face value, na. Why? See, everything does not have a solution. You, but nothing come to teach. Accept it. Just leave it at that. You don't like something, I don't like something. You don't like something, so it comes in the face. They don't like something on the face, so they tell you. Accept it. The step 2 of the solution is, step 2 of such a situation is, okay, talk to Kaushal. Okay, Kaushal, just see what they have said. See what best you can do. That is stop over there.
Okay.
Don't iron out and justify and re-justify. And that not necessarily you have to convince them or you have to convince yourself. Try to understand the other viewpoint. Top, square it off. Simple. Next time they
Okay. Yeah.
Because again, then you are going in the intellect mode. Buddhi to solve karva jao, answer જ નહીં આવે. There will be no end to it because there will be always they say something, you will an argument, they will a counter argument, justification and counter justification will go on, and the solution will not emerge. Ultimately, what is all this? This is mind body speech of, say, Kaushal. It is interaction, another mind body speech. This is a temporary interaction between your mind body speech and you have a lifespan, they have a lifespan. This is an yog which is going to become yog. This is a circumstances which will depart away. So then why the hell are you bent on making it good? अरे वो जाने वाला ही है. ये राग द्वेष થી ભરેલું છે. You see?
Yeah.
Attraction and abhorrence, we have charged this Parmanu with that. They are playing their part and they are dissipating. You see, nikal raha hai. Raag and Dwesh, likes and dislikes are happening between two human beings or two jeeves, and they are playing their part and atoms are getting clear. To forget it, clear hone do na. Don't. It's not your permanent abode.
Yeah.
Your permanent abode is your soul. That's where we have to reside. Ye to file number 1. You have to cleanse even file number 1, get rid of file number 1 and clear file number 1. Essentially, you have to clear file number 1.
Yes.
So all this, when it goes into intellectual mode, then as if we are trying to, protect file number 1, make file number good, glossy, neat and clean. नहीं, neat and clean तो वही play out हो गया, neat and clean થઈ જ ગયું. તમારા ઘરમાં કોકરોચ થઈ ગયા, તમે દવા નાખી, કોકરોચ જતા રહ્યા, સિમ્પલ. એટલે આનો તો see, it's just squaring up. justification and knowledge will not work in the long run.
Yeah.
Just use the Gnan and square off top, simple. Next time क्या करने का है देख लो. So the crux is move on.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. Yes, Acharya.
Jai Satchidana. Anybody else? Okay, Sheila Ben.
Jai Satchidanand, Pulinanandji, Jai Satchidanand Mahatmas. This exercise we did for these 9 days, I found it at least very useful. For every day, reminding yourself and asking for strength for that per day's kalam. What happened was because I approached it as an exercise, something which had to be done daily. That was there in my mind all the time. I didn't forget. Even during the course of the day, I didn't have to just reminding myself was easier because I was approaching it in a different way. And it also helped me introspect a lot and find out where, and every time I broke the kalam, I was more aware of it. And so introspection was easier. Also, I could find out the weaknesses where what are the kalams I needed to work on. So that's what I wanted to say, that this did help me. These 9 days was very useful for me, this exercise. And of course, whenever I broke the funny thing is, suppose a particular column for that particular day, that it so happened, I don't know whether it was just a coincidence, something would happen, some circumstances, something it would play out in such a way that I had to, there was a challenge in every day, like somewhere where I had to, it was almost as if I was being challenged to see how I would handle the situation, like something would be created where, I might have to retaliate or something like that. And then because I was doing this exercise in that exercise mode, I was able to not react at all in such situations. I hope I'm making myself clear, right? I mean, like every time something challenging would happen pertaining to that particular kalam.
So good. Nature is with you. It is trying to strengthen your kalam or awareness of the kalam.
Yes. So I thought it was marvelous. I was very impressed with something would happen and then be like, oh, exactly what that day's kalam was all about. And I don't know whether it's the Navratri time or whatever. It really worked, I feel. But the only thing is now the challenge is after the 9 days, how I'm going to, I don't know.
Yes.
How to,
Yes. And it's a wonderful discovery of the Prakriti introspection, as you said. So in that process, you will have discovered some faults and some remedies to overcome the faults. Now that is the key learning or takeaway. Discovering the solutions to handle the discharge Prakriti. That is the takeaway. But that's a wonderful thing. So nature is with you. It is generating situations where that particular kalam has to be enforced and you to square.
Yes.
So but that's perfect. So now they just carry it forward. Just carry it forward. In the sense, you can still continue that one kalam per day if you feel, or maybe filter out 4 or 5 kalams which are the most needed for you, and say one per day or two per day, whatever you feel okay. And it will help. And I have found that if you have shortlisted 1, 2, or 3 major columns, the need of the hour, the need of the Prakriti, then just use or ask for strength of those columns, say twice or thrice a day, say 5 minutes, whatever time permitting. And now what will happen is I have to be aware of this column, about the score or whatever. And then that each time asking of this strength, what will happen is every time you ask for this strength, one layer of the past opinion which is against the strength will go away. If I'm getting hatred, then one layer of the hatred will go away because I'm making a conscious decision. I don't want to get hatred. And hatred is happening because I have formed such beliefs, I've brought such beliefs, or I've brought such opinions as part of discharge. So that is being played out. I today, I'm not getting engrossed in file number 1. It's not engrossing in the thought or in the intellect. And because I have said no, let me not have dislike, let me not have hatred, let me not have ego, hurting language. This is I of today is doing this. So it is generating awareness of not getting into this. So this will pop up, mind, body, speech, this will pop up. But because you are away, it'll pop up and go away.
Mm.
So this is the way of cleansing the Prakriti.
Mm.
Exhausting all the beliefs and opinions. Exhausting all the inner enemies, growth, anger, pride, deceit, greed. Those are all charged paramahanus, atoms. So they will come at their time, give their effect of anger, pride, whatever, and then go away. So the Purusharth is when they are giving their effect, we don't get interested. That will happen because of this strength asking. So it will be, this is the scenario. This will happen, you have to do here. Now, so that I don't go get engrossed, I ask for the strength. Those 2-3 columns which are more necessary, because this is more of that type.
Yes.
More of food, more of vishay, more of about the rest or whatever.
Yes.
So if I ask this more, so let it come, go, go, come, go.
Got it.
So it is a long-term project. Dada Bhagwan
Mm.
did for 30-35 years, in spite of
Yes.
he coming all the way from so many these things or life
Yes.
births.
Oh, got it.
That is, na? But for us, it
Got
will
it.
not be so long. For us, it can get exhausted in a few years. The question is how sincere we are to it.
Yes.
Dada Bhagwan didn't have 5 Agnas. He came from the Kramik, but we have 5 Agnas with us. We have no Kalam, we have Pratikraman. So for us, it is not that long a procedure, but it's not short either. Today I said, and then one after 1 month it should be over. No, it may take more time.
Got it.
But you see, what will happen is after some time, say a few months or a few weeks, your awareness of the kalam will be so enhanced that this will come and go, come and go. So then it won't be so much of a challenge. And when you have success stories behind you, I was not engrossed, then you will do more of this trend asking. It will be a more pleasurable Purusharth because you're meeting with success. Like if once you learn to make some Italian dish and it works, so next time you'll make that, third time, yeah, now everybody's liking, I'm also liking. So that type of thing, then it'll have a cumulative effect. In the sense, this will go in auto mode, and then this will also play out, and then so that's the long-term vision or the roadmap for this Purusharth.
Okay. So,
Good.
Jai Sachidana.
Yes.
Hey, Dada. Hey, anybody else?
Jai Sachidanand.
Meera
This
Minnie.
Jai Sachidanand Pulinanandji, Jai Sachidanand Mahatmas. Thank you. I have a question and experience. So, in these 9 days to do these 9 columns, I've asked for strength. But what is interesting is the strength I'm asking is not just for this, but also the opposite. So, not just I do Pratikraman to people that say, make Meera feel gadbad, right? I understand that. But I'm also starting to do Pratikraman to those who praise Meera, to those who take, don't bring, I'm not back in the center. I'm not in Shudhdhatma. I'm not where I should be in the core. So everything that in these columns, that is the strength from saying, I don't, please let me not just take food that I like, but also, take food that is healthy and whole. Sometimes I'm craving that healthy and whole food. I should not be craving. So I wanted to ask, is it right of me to do Pratikraman to not just to raag type situations, but I mean, not to Dwesh type situations, but also to raag situations as well. If people say Meera is a good person, if I'm eating the correct type of food, if food that Meera likes, how should Meera handle so that Meera remains, that I'm always in Shudhdhatma. I am not Meera, I am Shudhdhatma.
Interesting one. This everybody is going to be useful for everyone. Basically, it is called taking, in Gujarat, it is called Garvaras, or taking pride in the discharge that is playing out. Oh, I'm eating the right food, or my behavior is good and people are praising me. You see? So, there, more than Pratikraman, what really is required is the right understanding that Mira, you are doing good things. That is also part of your discharge. Maybe your behavior was good and people praised you, then you have to just de-inflate that ego by saying, because of favorable circumstances, you could do this. Supposing you have done some work and it has turned out well and people are praising you did something nice. And you must tell me, Mira, see, there were so many other multiple factors also responsible for this activity to play out. You alone did not do it. Other parameters did, supporting parameters were there, or situations were there. So, but giving the right understanding automatically get deflated. Number two, remind Mira of failures also. When there's a tendency to get elevated by the success stories, remind Mira of the failures also. See, last time you didn't want to eat this, but you still happened to gorge on that sweet. You didn't want to yell at that fellow, but you yelled. So you also have shortcomings. And those are part of that discharge. So this good thing also is part of the discharge. So if the ego has a tendency to get inflated, you have to deflate it by failure stories. You alone are not doing it. Your mind, body, speech is playing. Or there are other factors which are helping you. The other Gyan is helping you. What is your great about it? What is you?
Correct.
Who are
Correct.
you? It is others
Correct.
Gyan that is working.
Correct.
So
Correct.
these
Yes.
are counter suggestions which can be given to deflate Mira's ego.
Correct. I'm that is what Meera wants also. The interesting thing is, during this Navkalam study, it also shows, it was very profound to understand that portion. It is not just one way to come back, it is also this way to come back. Ego is on both ends. So
Yes.
that was very powerful knowledge that came out from this 9 days of this study. So Jai Sat.
You know what?
Hmm.
It's our basically we are saying not getting engrossed in mind, body, speech.
Correct.
So, and the engrossment happens by way of raag as well as dwesh.
Yes.
Now, Kalam was handling the dvesh part of it, but we have to also be aware of the raag part of it. The likes
Correct.
part of it, the favorable part of it, the things that turn our way, where we get praises, where we get respect and that. So it is just creating an awareness. Oh, Mira means Mira's ego, or file number one's ego. Mira's ego is very happy when someone praises. Mira's ego is depressed when someone criticizes. All that is happening to Mira, observe the ego is the crux.
Yes. Jai Satchidat.
And talking to Mira, Mira, okay, so you're happy, you're elevated, good, I'm observing. So
Jai Sat.
we are not saying ego should not get inflated. Yes, it is inflated, it is happy, observe it. If you are
Observe.
just observe it. Let it play part. Don't crush it. Don't crush it. Observe it. So if you observe it, it will happen. Let it play. Why we are hammer and tongs on the bad part? Let the good part of the Prakriti also play out.
Okay.
Let it play out. But observe it, and talk to it, and deflate it.
And deflated by saying, like you said, what this is just a situation. This is not Meera. This is all the situations has come to make this happen.
You are independently not doing it. Favorable circumstances helped it.
Correct.
So the right understanding remains, and more than that, we remain in the observer status. We observe Mira's likes, Mira's dislikes, Mira's elevation, Mira's depression, and just move on.
Okay.
Because some amount of counterbalance is also required. Now you can't criticize Mira for the shortcomings.
Sometimes, yes, sometimes. Okay.
Then
But I will.
that will lead to depression, all the wrong things are happening. I'm full of all the rubbish things and all that. My prakriti is having all the things which are not helpful in my path to moksha. Good things also. But keep it as things and not I or me. It's not my good thing, it is Mira's. Or file number one.
File number one. Jai Sachidanand Pulinanandji.
Jai Sachidanand. Okay, anybody else?
Jai Sachidanand Pulinanandji, Jai Sachidanand Mahatma. I have something to share. A few sessions ago, I remember asking, I was just mentioning about, getting harassed by income tax department. I'm not sure. I remember Deepakanandji actually saying, do Pratikraman. You might have hurt somebody in the past, and that's perhaps the reason why you are kind of, being, going through this. So I have been doing this, and you won't believe it's something very strange that happened last week. Suddenly, out of the blue, I get a call, and this person introduced himself, said he's handling my file, and he said, it's come to my desk. I need to kind of, I went through that. So he told me, listen, can you, get all the records? I told him, I'm sorry, I don't have any of the papers after so many years. This is pertaining to something like 2001, 2002, so long ago. And it's basically because there is a miscommunication, and they have been kind of saying, it's just going on to get you to understand what exactly it is. So this Pratikraman, it is interesting how after so many years, because I've never had a call from any of these people, it was always a written correspondence, written this thing. And suddenly I get this call, and I said, oh my God, looks like, something has happened. And of course, nothing significantly happened, but then he said he would look into it, and then he would get back and see how best he could help me out. I really felt so good. And then the thought came to me saying, I'm too proud, look at that, my prayers have worked, my Pratikraman has worked, I kept thinking about that. And the next thing that happens is he calls me 2 days later, and he says, the file has been kind of allotted to somebody else. Your first letter starts in L, and alphabetically, we have some allocation. It's no longer with me. The new gentleman, you need to deal with. So I just wanted to share with you, this is exactly what happened. I can see the minute I start seeing that it's just the file, Lata, it makes me feel better. Otherwise, I used to get very, very anxious, and get very worried, and what will happen, and how do I do it? What did I do to deserve this? All that. Now I'm able to kind of, just accept it as it comes and not get too excited. I'm trying. This is a big journey, and I'm trying, but I can see myself, the change over time. I just wanted to kind of share it, what happened.
Nice, very nice. I tell you, this will always happen, and I've also experienced it to some extent in the past. That when you are doing a major thing, and then sometimes you meet minor success stories, like you said, you did Pratikraman, you got a call, you elevated, then again it goes away, then again it comes. So this is called a flip flop, which will happen in case of a little sticky file, and it's only a matter of time before it gets over. The time could be more, 2 months, 2 years, little more than that also, but it does get over. So we have to remain on track that this is fine, and let me spare it of equanimously. Then call from one person, communicate from the person, in your case, income tax. Just keep on looking and looking and looking till the issue is sorted out. So continue as file, continue wherever, if whatever solutions has been suggested to you, maybe in terms of Pratikraman, maybe, sometimes what happens is this is a suffering for some other cause. It's a mental suffering, basically. It could be physical in the sense that maybe some wrong, not intentionally, but unintentionally, some financial goof up we may have committed somewhere, not directly with this income, but some other income somewhere. Perhaps I'm saying, not in your case, perhaps. So if that is the cause, then maybe on introspection, we may find that error we did, and then we erase that error by Pratikraman, and then this will also, the effect will also get erased. But I tell you, saying file and Sambhavini Kalam, Pratikraman or whatever, these are the master solutions to begin with. It may lead us to the root causes in terms of some behaviors, actions, which may perhaps not which may perhaps not fall in line with nature's ideal behavior. So if you have broken some nature's law, then that also we can cleanse up. And it's a matter of time before all things pass away. Until that time, so that we not get anxious and worried, which is very true. So, because these are issues which does cause anxiousness, and we are very keen that it gets settled at the earliest. So, file and Sambhavini call is the best thing. It's the best thing.
Thank you.
Jai Satchidanand. Anybody else?
See.
I will share, Uncle. Just I'm having some internet issues. Sorry, so if I have to turn the video off, I might have to do that. Jai Satchidanand, Pulinanandji, and Mahatmas. I think for me, one thing that actually really changed, because I was having kind of lots of faults coming up, lots of kalams that were more difficult to adhere to, but something that happened on Sunday's satsang, kind of, it resonated with me over the last few days, which was about the choice we have to either view with the intellect or the correct understanding, that it's a choice. And that really, like, we choose, like, in a way, we're endorsing our suffering when we fuel it with intellect. So the example, like, I had a few examples at work, even driving today, somebody almost hit my car, and I would have previously, I did initially get like a little bit angry. And before I started going down that path, all of a sudden it was like, okay, I have a choice. I can either endorse this, create a story, blame this person, why did he do all that? Or I can just see it as, this is a circumstance. I had to have a brief interaction with this soul in a human form in a vehicle, and just being grateful that I didn't get into an accident. But it was like I think the realization, or for me at least, what helped solidify some of this week was that the choice, that there is like a little pause where you have a choice that you can either go with, and sometimes the circumstance is very overwhelming and you'll still have a bad reaction, or a good reaction, you'll have a reaction. But I think that's what, for me, the block so much is the intellect endorsing the incorrect behavior, and missing a lot of faults. And so in this 9-day practice, I think the awareness of so many faults was there, but not that identification. So I wasn't feeling depressed like I usually do. I was not feeling, I just was like watching it go. But what I saw is the intellect constantly pulling me back, wanting to, tell that story, I guess, or whatever, look at through that perspective. And that's one of the bigger obstructions I think that I have going on right now. It's probably just keeping awareness of that intellect and, you know, watching that when you make these mistakes, not saying it's okay or siding with that or not avoiding that discomfort that you mentioned. So I just wanted to share that that experience. Jai Satchidanand.
Very good, very good. You see, you have brought out a very important point of choice. You see, choice we anyway have. Like every human being always has this choice to be with the Prakriti or to be against the Prakriti, in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
Whether we have taken Gnan as a Mahatma or whether we are a common person without this self-realized knowledge, everyone always has the choice. You see, for a person who has, for example, not taken Gnan, he gets wild, he gets angry. Then either he will say, oh, unless I give him a piece of mind, unless I yell, this man is not going to improve. So he has that choice and he exercises the choice for yelling, for getting angry, which reinforces that anger for the next birth. Or if he has visited some spiritual master and has got some wisdom and all, then he says, no, I must not get angry. It is not good, you know. So he exercised that choice. No, I should not get angry. For a non-Mahatma, I'm saying. So that is called Purusharth. That is relative Purusharth. You see, that ego has all, it does that. It happens by default. It happens by default. Everybody is doing it. Unknowingly, everybody is doing it. We as Mahatmas are a little more aware of it. And today we have been, we have experienced that who we are. And now we are telling that now my choice is to go moksha. My choice is to be liberated from these cycles of life and death. You see. So we, in principle, have made that choice at the understanding level. Now only think that choice has to be enhanced in terms by way of Purusharth, so that it remains more at the experiential or the action level also.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
All this Purusharth is to ensure. All this Purusharth is just to ensure that that choice is taken for the soul or for the liberation, and not for the body or for the rebirth.
Yes.
This entire Agna is to just exercise that choice. Now I want to go to moksha. That's one big major choice. Then it is subdivided into I don't want to get angry, I don't want to get into greed, I don't want to I don't want to hurt anyone. So those are all choices in terms of nuts and bolts in actionables. So choice is perfect. All we are trying to do is we are trying to ensure that we exercise the choice in the right direction towards soul, towards liberation, or for soul, for liberation. So this no kalam enhances that choice. That the no kalam enhances the awareness so that the choice is on the right side. Like said, someone just met with an accident, and had you not made this choice of the no kalam, you would have given away a piece of your mind. Your intellect would have played its part. Intellect would have played that in terms of what is right and what is wrong, and then you would have definitely reacted in that way. But because you said this kalam, you had the choice not to do as per the discharge intellect. And it's very good that you have identified that it is your intellect which is on and off always troubling you, which is pulling you from the soul to the prakriti or the mind body speech. You see. So it's very good. You see, the fact that we're able to identify the culprit is the starting point of true Purusharth. So having found, we see, and what see, intellect is of two types. One is the worldly intellect, which will always show right and wrong, which will always show where there is profit and loss, where there is advantage and disadvantage towards the mind body speech, towards the worldly life. My money is saved, my time is saved, my this is saved, all towards the prakriti. That is worldly buddhi or viprit buddhi. In Gujarati, it is viprit buddhi or worldly buddhi, which goes towards the prakriti. You see? And with the help of this gna, this buddhi, now I'm just giving you a solution how to manage your intellect. Having identified that intellect is always pulling me away from soul, always pulling me from self-awareness, is taking me into the other fellow is a doer and not as innocent. So it is the intellect that is playing its part. It is the worldly intellect or Viparit Buddhi. So now the solution is first convert it into spiritual Buddhi. I'm just at random, I'm using this word. It is called Samyak Buddhi, but the nearest closest that comes to my mind is spiritual intellect. Intellect which works towards the spirit or towards the Atma. Intellect which shows profit and loss in terms of spiritual awareness, Atma Jagrati. This will help my Atma Jagrati. This will help my moksha.
Wow.
It is showing plus minus. It is showing profit and loss, but of the spirit kind, of the spiritual kind.
Yes.
This whole profit and loss for my emancipation, for my liberation, for my moksha. So first thing is, with the help of all this Purusharth, in terms of 5 Agnas, in terms of no Kalams, in terms of all the adjust everywhere, and the knowledge that we have got, and all the tools that we have got, the first thing is to convert, or gradually it gets converted from the worldly intellect to the spiritual intellect, from Viparit Buddhi to Samyak Buddhi. First use all these tools to convert it over there. That means, so for example, just taking your example, that you had this man who almost damaged your car. So otherwise you would have said, but the no Kalam said, why are you doing that? Because I want to spare up my account. He was an image. He did little bit of damage to my car or to me or my time and my money. But chalo, my account is cleared. He was an image. So it is good he has cleared my debt.
Wow.
So the same intellect is showing a profit, but in terms of clearing the karmic debt. The same intellect was showing loss. He has damaged my car because it's a worldly thing, worldly damage, worldly loss. Now, if the same intellect is showing an advantage, it has cleared the debt, the karmic debt. So it's an advantage. Bhogavato, I've suffered. The suffering is not the debt. So it is good I'm suffering. It's good my karmic debt is being cleared.
Right.
So we are using the same intellect, but for a different purpose. Profit and loss, but in the spirit category, moksha or soul category. So first thing is use all these tools to convert that intellect. And then we'll go towards the abudh dasha or non-intellect, where full prajna will be operating.
Wow.
Just excuse me, I've got one. I'm just coming. Sorry. So this is a general tool for all people who have brought a little higher order of intellect. Especially in America, the entire environment is intellectual. You see, there are a lot of debates and gossips and pros and cons. You buy any eatable, some food, then you will see the ingredients and it has this vitamin and does not have this, and it is hajar things be analyzed. You see, so it's intellect at top play.
Yeah.
The environment is so. If the environment is pro intellect, now with the help of this Gnan, we have to use the same intellect to not overanalyze the worldly loss and profit, but to convert it to profit and loss of the other kind. We have to convert it to the profit and loss of the other kind. Understand? So do that. First use the tools to convert it, and then gradually you will go towards Abuddha. So that means not using the intellect light, but using the prajna's light. That will happen as the intellectual light diminishes. Proactively, we don't listen to the intellect, but listen to prajna. But this will come a little later. Right now, we have to come out of the suffering of the Viparit Buddhi.
Yeah.
So step one is to convert it. And as you move along, then automatically from inside, you will get solutions. What to do. So that aha feeling will be there, I am gaining in terms of my karmic debt clearing. I'm gaining in terms of my spiritual awareness is increasing. I'm gaining in terms of I'm seeing separateness from file number one. Those gains will nullify the worldly loss that you happen to see, or the Buddhist.
Right. That's beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai,
Thank you.
Jai Sachidanand. So our time is up. Pulinanandji, we want to continue with the fifth.
I suggest we can keep the 5 columns. I suggest everybody read. I just very briefly touch upon 6th column. We could introduce the 6th column. It's basically sexual misendearments or Vishaya Vikar, lust as we call it. So may I get the strength not to commit any of these misendearments or the wrong misdeeds by mind, speech and body in terms of thoughts, in terms of desires and all that, and giving the strength to be nirvikar. And that is the basic crux of that 6th column. Everybody knows the column, so maybe just go through it. Try asking for strength of the 6th column. So we could have experiences of 1 to 6 columns. 6th column in principle, because we don't have time, so we will elaborate on the 6th column next time. But I'm touching upon it. We could start 1 to 6 columns. Huh? The time is up, so I will just pause. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Please do three mantra. Everybody, please unmute and follow. Yeah.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo
Namo
Ayariyanam.
Namo Vatsayanam.
Namo
Namo
Vatsayanam.
Namo Loye Savasahunam.
Namo Loye Sarvasahunam.
Eso Panchanamukkaro.
Eso Panchanamukkaro.
Savapavapanasano.
Savabhavapanasana.
Galancha Savvesim.
Mangalam Chisabesam.
Havai Mangalam.
Padamam Vai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Jai Sachidanand.